Hey, peace world. Thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment video. My name is Wood. Gotta jump into some bite down boxing. I mean, we just saw, you know, the number one guy in the business go to work and over deliver in a way. In a way, I'm not gonna be on here long, man. I didn't feel like setting up to do a proper live stream on my desktop. Check in the description. I'll throw a link in there, or go check me out over at bitedownboxing.com. I'll throw a link in here to the fight recap. I wrote up quite a few fights today, so it's a lot of content on there for you to check out if you care to do so. Looking at this fight, man, I didn't expect that. Um, and I don't think it's much to argue about. I mean, this fight kind of wrote itself, tells its own story. I think that's the way that we wanted Kell Brook to look in terms of it being a competitive fight. He was doing really well. I mean, here's a guy. Part of my whole analysis was that he hadn't been consistently, active the past couple of years, the past few years, and here it is. I mean, he's doing extremely well jabbing and being patient. I didn't expect him to be patient and to kind of lay back as much and allow and just fight at that distance. I really didn't. And it's something to be said, for when elite guys do actually fight one another, and we have such a you just don't go out there and just let your hands go and fight carelessly. And it's amazing to see the skill on display, to see the adjustments, to get a sense of the danger, of making a mistake. And just to see the fight unfold, man, I thought it was a phenomenal fight, to be honest with you. Even when it looked a little uncertain for the guy I was rooting for, and Bud Crawford. I mean, like I said, a hell of a job for Brook coming through, the first two rounds. Man, I was like, what the hell is this? And then to sit and see, a few weeks ago, or almost a month ago, on October the 17th, watching Vasily Lomachenko, how he responded to facing another world-class guy and not doing anything essentially for, 6-7 rounds, and not mixing it up, not being willing to, to take the risk. And, shout out to Bud Crawford for, somewhere in that third round he had, and I didn't expect him to open up. He's been in that southpaw stance so much of late. I really didn't expect him to start out conventional and really, kind of fall behind and allow Kell Brook to establish his jab and kind of fall into his rhythm and gain a lot of confidence and whatnot, and gain the momentum of the fight. Sometimes I'm even critical of Bud for switching into the South, because I don't always think he needs it, but it's like something that he can do, so he does it. But here, late in the third round or somewhere in the third round, I wrote my story. I didn't take notes, but he switches to southpaw, and it seemed like he really wasn't getting his feet quite set, and really wasn't looking polished in his southpaw. He just kind of ended up in southpaw and then was flicking his right jab out there until he figured it out. And then to come out into the fourth and start really forcing the issue. He sensed that Kell Brook was kind of stuck in neutral. His offense and definitely his jab really became non-existent, and just the momentum completely switched over in Bud's favor. And then when he goes, and it was weird, after being patient for 3 rounds, and after fighting so wisely, to get a little impatient, to get a little careless, and to force the issue a bit, to try to get in there with that right hand. And it was no real prolonged, combinations or anything. I mean, it was hit and move, hit and move. No, but for him to kind of get out of character right there in that moment and try to step forward and force the issue, going away from fighting behind his jab and to just try to start operating with lead rights was just, I was shocked that he made that tactical error and basically just served himself up to Bud. That was just a weird right hand that Bud stepped in with as he was stepping in, but landed flushly. When you hit a dude square in the middle of all of this versus on the chin and just totally, I'm guessing you just totally, mess up a guy's equilibrium and everything. I'm watching the replay right now on Sports Center. But the big wild steps that he took, moving off to the right to get away from Bud, he knew he was hurt. I was kind of shocked that Weeks stepped in at that moment. I didn't know what the hell he was going to do, but he steps in as Bud had moved in to throw some finishing shots. And, he does his gets into his 10 count. Obviously, Brook is up, so he beats the count. Weeks does his, he observes him really quickly, checks him out to see if he's capable to finish. Brook says some positive things or some affirmative things to indicate he can continue, but he's hurt. And Bud steps in. He almost rushed in being excited and being caught up in the moment. He almost rushed in to finish him off, but he gets over to him and, makes some feints, sets some things up. In the feints, he gets some reactions from Brook, who's hurt and is in survival mode almost, and creates the moments for Bud to get the finish. And so, hell of a performance, man. I mean, pretty exciting fight. Both men having good moments, and like I said, man, it's so rare to see truly world-class dudes facing one another. And the drama is so high, the suspense is so high, the margin of error is so low, and you just don't get to see that a whole lot. So I think it delivered. After the fight, I'm not really gonna get into the Spence, Spence Bud fight or Pacquiao and Bud fighting. I think Bud gave a great account of himself and what he's capable of. I wanted to see him against, a bigger welterweight. The fight did kind of get as physical as I thought it might have gotten, but I think Brook landed enough solid shots to where I saw Bud take those shots really well. I saw how Bud reacted to being in against a guy with good size on him. But like I said, I thought it was pretty good. Horn was a little heavier when they fought, I think. And then also Green Machine is a pretty, big welterweight in my opinion. Kind of a muscle-bound guy, carries a lot of mass on him and whatnot. So we'll see what happens, man. And Spence, getting past Danny Garcia is no guarantee. You know what I'm saying? I haven't tuned in too much, and I would imagine we're not hearing much about what's coming out of training camp on the Spence side and whatnot. But it's no given that he defeats Danny Garcia when they meet next month. So I really don't see a lot of payoff in trying to talk about that matchup or that should happen, blah, blah, blah. I think, I don't know what the hell Manny Pacquiao's promotional situation is right now. They're trying to make the fight with him and Mikey Garcia. And then, Bud mentioned that they were close to getting that done before this fight. So I don't know where he is with whatever, but it's not a bad idea if that's the direction that Bud would like to go in. And if he feels that they were close to making that fight back in December, January, or whatever, or February, whenever they were in negotiations, and he wants to resume or try to resume those talks and get that fight, I don't hate that. But we'll see what happens with the PBC thing and Spence. But just for tonight, man, I thought it was a great fight. I got about 4 text messages. I usually don't get any text messages after fights. So I think some casual boxing fans dug it. It was a good fight, man. It was short. I think after, we got the late stoppage because of the game. We had the controversy with the headbutt and the instant replay and the administration of that whole procedure, causing a further delay. And then even after they cleared that up, ESPN still went ahead with this with the whole rollout or introduction to the fight, with a lot of material that we've already seen, 10 times at this point, but they still had all those cues that they went through to get us to that fight. And, it was what it was, man. Shout out to Bud. Great win. I'm kind of dumbfounded, man. I did not expect the fight to go that way, but it did. I think he, it didn't look like we were going to see him in 2020. We did. And he came and did what he said he was going to do. And, we'll see what's next. The one weird thing, I'm kind of shocked. I wasn't fully aware of all the details in it. But for them to come out and, Kriegel to report that Bud Crawford's legal team sent a letter, I believe is what they said it was, a letter to Top Rank this week. That seemed like some questionable timing. The letter was about how he felt like he wasn't getting the fights that he was promised or was told would be able to happen. The marquee fights, the big dollar fights, that none of that stuff was happening. He was very unpleased. That just made I just don't understand that. And then for them two to be standing there after the fight, and they asked a question about Spence and getting that fight done, and how can they do it? How can they advance the discussions there? And Bud directs him over to Bob Arum, who comes in and says, what he has to say, in emphatic fashion, and trying to, prod this thing along. But we'll see what happens. We definitely got to get through that fight next month and see how, Spence looks and if he's even victorious. And we go from there. But that was just really, there was the interview with Brian Custer on the Last Stand podcast with Custer, and he asked Bud directly about would he be moving on once his contract is up. I believe there is pretty much confirmed that Bud's contract was supposed to be up in October of 2021. That leaves time, I would imagine, for 1, maybe 2 fights. But then you send this letter this week. What did that letter really accomplish? What will Top Rank's reaction to that letter be? I don't know, man. That just seemed like a crazy development for today, ahead of the fight. And then for these guys to all be around each other throughout the week, it just seemed just a questionable move. Anyway, man, that's it, man. I just wanted to come on and get my reaction to the fight versus trying to do record a video, edit it, put it up, and all of that. It's much easier. I see all of the big channels are doing lives right now, so most of the boxing fans are over there, chatting it up and whatnot. I don't have that's one thing on a win like that. I don't have to really I don't have to be bothered with boxing tomorrow with the podcast, videos, articles, and whatnot. That's that. Quick note before I go though, the zone card with the women. Terry Harper took down Katharina Sanders. I thought that was a pretty good fight. It was interesting that that Harper has moved on from Natasha Jonas. For the y'all that just came in, and I'm getting ready to wrap this up. I was just talking about the other boxing throughout the day, besides the phenomenal fight between Bud and Brook. But going back to that Harper fight against Sanders, it was just odd to see Harper move on from Jonas, who she had to draw with. But Sanders was just outclassed. But it was a good fight though, good showing for Harper. I love to see Harper and Michaela Mayer if that can get done. And then lastly with Katie Taylor in the main event. Again, I'm just talking on the other boxing of today. I already went through my reaction to the main fight tonight. I know a lot of cats don't really mess with women's boxing, but I thought Katie Taylor put in a phenomenal performance tonight. I thought she, came out to make a statement. I think she made it. She dominated Miriam Gutierrez, who was out of her league. I mean, had never fought outside of Spain, and now finds herself against Katie Taylor. So I thought that was a pretty dope card. The men that fought on that card for Cash Farouk or whatever, Jack Collin, it's interesting to see some of these Europeans, but I just thought it was a dope fight for the ladies. The opener or the first of the triple header, Rachel Ball against Georgina Guanini. I didn't think Guanini got as much credit as I thought she deserved. But when you fighting that type of fight, moving around a whole bunch, operating off the back foot, fighting in these spurts, and then taunting and kind of looks like your horse playing a little bit, whereas Rachel Ball was just stalking and trying to attack, but never really landed any sustained attacks or anything. So I was shocked that she wanted that widely, but she picks up that bantam or super bantam interim WBC title, I believe. So I like Rachel Ball. It's a shame she didn't get to fight Ebony Bridges. It might have been a better fight, but maybe not. But that was my thoughts on that. I'm not going to do a separate video on that tomorrow. Again, I wrote on that one. Check me out at www.bitedownboxing.com. Man, solid day of boxing, man. Solid day of boxing. Hey, Bite Down Boxing, don't let them count you out. Pay me no mind. Sports and entertainment. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. 1.